Hello, Emma Boone here. I just wanted to take a minute to reflect on my Rose Parade experience. And so, basically, going into this, everything that I had expected or had been looking forward to was 200% more amazing and magical than I thought it would be. Like, first of all, one of the things I was looking forward to was meeting new people, and I definitely did that. It was just throughout the whole experience, you saw someone new and you'd be like, hey, what's your name? I sat next to new people on the bus all the time, which like kind of scares me, meeting new people and going up to people. But some of those friends that I met there, I'm still talking to, and like it's so cool to have that kind of like positive vibe that goes around all the time throughout, especially with band kids. And so we're all just so fun and quirky. We all something in common in our passion for music, and I think that's really wonderful. And so getting to meet so many new people and communicating with them even now, weeks later, and I expect, months later. And even there's a couple of us that are even planning a reunion. We all live in different states around the country. We've been trying to plan a get together, and some of them I didn't even know before this experience. It's just incredible how within 1 week, how close everyone got and how much, we touched each other and we were touched by people. And so that was amazing. The second thing was, what I was looking forward to was going to Disneyland. And like, I've been to Disneyland before, live in California and stuff, but going there with like a bunch of friends and just having a good time was so much fun. But most importantly was performing in Disneyland. I was almost like crying during that. I actually was crying during that performance because we were standing there performing. You could see Chris, and he was just getting totally into it, and it was so much fun. And I could just see the castle in the background, and being able to just play my instrument, do what I love, being somewhere that I love with people that I love was just amazing. And we even got cool hats because of it, and I'm a huge Disney fan, so that was awesome. I'm so excited for those hats, those ears that we got. And just Disneyland is a magical place, but the whole thing was just magical, and I'll never forget that day, that's for sure. And so but I'd say one of the probably honestly the coolest part of the trip was New Year's Eve. We split up into two groups and went to Hard Rock Cafe. And the group that I happened to be in, I was in with a lot of my friends. I sat at a table with new people as well, and some of my friends. And we talked to the waitress, and we were like, can we request songs? And she's like, yeah, sure. So we request Don't Stop Believing because, that's just a classic. And so it came on, and our whole table like stood up and started singing and dancing. And suddenly we were kind of standing up and dancing to everybody. And then my friend, Gwyneth, she stood up and started going around kind of the little area that we were all in. We were kind of in like the back corner of the restaurant. There was a bunch of us from the Rose Parade, half the band there, and kind of a couple other tables around us that were from just, people having dinner, not with us. And so she stood up and started just going around, and I followed her, and so did the people from my table. And so all of a sudden we were dancing, and we're like singing the song, jumping around the corner, and suddenly everybody starts following us. Like, people are saying like, hey, look at that looks fun. And people are joining us, people who are like, this looks like should we be doing this in a restaurant, But they were all getting up, and the people that weren't with us were clapping and really excited. It was fun, so fun for them to watch. And they had so much fun, and suddenly, like, everyone in the entire band was up and just jumping around and smiling and having fun, and that was the most fun I've probably maybe ever had in my entire life. It was the coolest experience. And after that, through the rest of the night, we all continued partying. Best New Year's ever, definitely. And we had so much fun throughout the night. We just embraced kind of our silliness, and the whole staff loved it. They thought it was really fun. But afterwards, this woman came up to me, and she's like, I'm from Australia, and this is, my first night here, and I just wanted to say you made my trip. Like, that was the most fun part of my trip, just watching you guys do that. And I thought that was so cool that we had, kind of, expressed our kind of happiness, kind of put it on other people, and just made them happy to kind of see us. And throughout the night, there were people up on, like, the second floor, like, wondering, like, what are those kids gonna do next? So that was fun. And but everyone talks about that night. It was amazing. And yeah, and we went to the beach. That was really cool. It was, California weather. You think if it's like hot and sunny, but in this case it was like cold. But We went to the beach, played in the water. We had a pretty epic game of volleyball, I do have to say. We had people on each other's shoulders. Cam came in and joined us for a little bit. Good job, Cam. That was great. And we just had a blast. And like, there was seriously not a moment on the trip where I wasn't happy. Like, throughout the entire thing, no matter who I was with, what I was doing, whether it was, you know, out in rehearsal for a whole hot day, tired, exhausted with everybody, thirsty, you know, hungry, but we were, you know, we just embraced it. Like, the part with the attitude about the people in the Rose Parade Band is, you know, they wanted to be here, they wanted to be a part of this, and so we were going to do whatever it took to continue doing what we wanted to do, and we just kept pushing. Like, it was great. There was one day we were just doing rounds and rounds around the blacktop, and all of our arms are dying, and we're like, ugh, but just, we all just were helping each other. We're like, keep going, you've got this, woo! You know, it was just so much support and liveliness from everybody that you don't see, you know, regular, you know, band camp where everybody's like, so that was awesome. And then, let's see, there was, oh, the banquet. That was really cool. It was fun to see everyone get dressed up and nice, and especially the dancing part. Like, there were some cool jams there. I think even the bus driver joined in the circle and had a little dance solo, and that was super fun. And so, but basically okay, sorry, can't forget. The most important part of this was definitely the parade. After all, we were the Bands of America Honor Band marching in the Rose Parade. And so going up to that, I was somewhat dreading it, because I was like, I'm not gonna get through the TV corner. My arms are gonna die. I'm gonna fall off. I'm gonna collapse. Everything's gonna go wrong and blah. So I'm a little scared, because everybody's like, you know, you better make it, you know, and I had never even done this. I'd only seen the Rose Parade on TV, but you know, I didn't know how long it was that you were on it, and we had no break. We had a 2-second break and every time, and so, but going into it, we were having fun, warming up, talking to each other, just kind of getting each other loose before we were actually gonna march, and then we went through TV corner, and I was like, Emma, you've got to do this. This is your only chance. You may be marching the Rose Parade, so you've got to push through, and I did. So I was impressed with myself, first of all, but impressed with everybody else that, you know, we could do it. And just, but like they said the big grandstands, when you turn the corner, you'd see everything, and that's exactly what they said. Like, we were going through TV corner, and you turn, and you just, there it is. It's like, everybody in, like, the Los Angeles area was there. Pasadena, everybody, like, I swear. And it was breathtaking, because I'd never seen that before. I'd performed in, you know, football stadiums and, you know, and all that kinds of stuff, but it was just, for miles, you could see everybody on both sides too. And so that was pretty cool, I have to say. And so we're going through the parade, and they said beforehand, don't trust people with the signs, you know, what they say, you know, oh, you're halfway there, when you're really, like, not even close. So, but we're marching, you know, every once in a while, you know, you saw some kids who were like, yeah, they were all bundled up, and, you know, you could tell they'd been there for a while, and then through one street there were, like, tortillas on the ground. I seriously don't know what that's about. I'm trying to figure that out. I talked to some people who are also marching in the parade in the BOA Honor Band 4 years before, and they were like, yeah, there were, like, tortillas everywhere, so I guess that's, like, a thing, but I'm gonna look out more into that. And so, but it was cool, because we stopped maybe a couple of times, and we were like, you know, because it wasn't really hot, so that was nice. It was really good weather, but we were just so exhausted. Our arms were tired. You know, we'd been marching for so long. I also had my hair pinned up in a bun, and it was like super tight, but I had this bobby pin just digging into my head. So for the whole parade, I was like, so it kind of took away the arm strength that I was going through. So yeah, I guess that was good and bad, but we got stopped, and every once in a while we got stopped. You know, there are people that were coming up to me. They're like, "Can we take a picture with you?" And I was like, "Sure." Like, I thought that was pretty sweet, because just people wanted to be part of, you know, that experience, and kind of felt like a celebrity almost. So that was awesome. And so it was kind of near the end, and like we talked to someone. when we were stopped, and they looked like trustworthy people, not people that would try to trick us. And we were like, hey, do you know how long this is? And they're like, yeah, I think like 1 more mile. Okay, one, they were wrong. They're very, very wrong, I would like to say. I don't even think we were halfway. We were so sad when we found out. We were like, guys, I don't think we're close. But near the end, everybody is just tired, and like all the staff members are running by us. They're like, you can see the end, you can see the end. We're like, yeah, turn the corner. That's not the end. They lied. I don't know. I don't know what it was. And so we kept getting our hopes up. We're like, oh, this is the last time we're going to play this. And we'd like take it up an octave. Maybe just don't tell anybody I'm saying this, but do stuff like that, fun stuff. And I was next to my friend Reese behind me. In our block, I had Madison next to me, which is one of my friends who I met at the summer symposium, and then I had Brendan and then Reed. And so throughout the very end, we were just like screaming through the whole, every time we weren't playing, we're like, yeah, we can do this, we're almost done, let's go. And it was, through their support and supporting each other, we kind of got through that way. And Reed was even improvising a little, and I got cracked up at that. I thought that was hilarious. And Madison and I, every time they did the drum cadence, which right when they started the drum cadence, we'd be like, like you could just hear the collective sigh from the group. Every time they did that, we were happy. But we'd come up with little like fun vocals that we like, we were just kind of just doing funny little things every time there was this one part in the cadence. And so, but just like having that kind of feel and like we're all in this together. Yeah, it sucks, but we're gonna get through it. Well, it didn't really suck. I honestly, it wasn't that miserable. I wasn't miserable during the parade at all. But like, yeah, it's long. We're sweating. It's hard. It's just someone's sprinkling for some reason for like 2 minutes, but we know we're gonna do this. And it was just amazing being part of like that type of community, and where everyone was just helping each other. Like it was an experience I've never had before. That strong at least. And like, and they'd be, every once in a while someone would like make a joke, when we weren't playing, or they'd say something funny, and it was just, it kept me going, and that was the best part, I had to say. And yeah, afterward we got In-N-Out, which was awesome. I have In-N-Out quite often, but I could never have enough of it. And the fact that they gave us 2 burgers, I was very thankful. Thank you, In-N-Out, very much. I really appreciate you guys. And but yeah, and then we were done, and everybody was like, woo, we all cheered, and I still can't believe that I marched in the Rose Parade. Like, I got this jacket and everything, but I still can't believe it. I'd seen it on TV years before, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. And even last year when I was in the process of auditioning, the Rose Parade was on, and I was like, that could be me next year, but who knows? We'll see. But the fact that I did it, that's something I can tell my family and like generations, to come. My friends like, yeah, I marched in the Rose Parade, and I think that's awesome. Even I wore this jacket to a couple drum corps auditions that I had following the parade, and multiple people came up to me and they were like, oh, you wearing the BOA honor band? I said, yeah, and they said, I saw you guys on TV, it was so cool. And I was like, wow, people know who we are, so got a name for us, and I thought that was awesome. So basically, what I took away from this experience was just a sense of how like the band experience and being a part of music, this is what it can get to. Being as a future music educator, this is how I want my band to feel like, how my program to have that connection. Even though, none of us, most of us didn't know anyone going into this. But the fact that we had that connection and that teamwork and just the pushing through everything as together was amazing. And the fact that we were able to work together, put together these pieces in such a short amount of time, and march through the Rose Parade together, less than a week, was outstanding. And it's just something that I want to be part of. I want people to be a part of that. You know what I mean? So 4 years, I've already told many people, like, you have to do this when it comes around again in 4 years. You absolutely have to. My sister is a freshman. My cousin is also a freshman. And so they'll hopefully, I think, be able to do it when they come, but I've already told them and I'm gonna help them prepare because I want as many people to be a part of something like this as they can, because you know what they say, music for all, music for everyone, and this was music for all. We weren't only sharing our music with each other, but with the nation and who knows, the world, you know, all the people that were watching. And that's why I get so much from these experiences. I went to the summer symposium, and where I met quite a bit of people who were in the Rose Parade. So being able to meet people there and then developing such good connections with them that I could just reconnect immediately after not seeing each other for, 6 months. The fact that it's able to do that, you don't get that anywhere else. You get that with people that you connect with through music, through having just the attitude and just the dedication to something that you love. And it makes me really excited for my future and for the future of music. So anyway, as just a friendly goodbye, is that this is the best week of my life. And if I could, I'm just speechless. I know I will have so much more to say later, but this will be something that I will never forget, and I know that everyone watching it will never forget, because it was a magical experience. I'm sure everyone in the band could say that exact thing. Oh, okay, actually, a little additive before I end. When we, a couple songs we did, Band of Brothers, You Raise Me Up, Stars and Stripes, all the songs we did, but they'd have us sing a couple of them. And I thought that was cool. A lot of people are like, you're in band, you can't sing, but I think it's cool when programs do that. So instead of playing, there was one night, the percussion and guard were watching us. It was just the horn line inside one of the meeting rooms. And we sang You Raise Me Up instead of playing it. And that was probably one of the most magical experiences I could tell we all experienced, because we spread out throughout the room too, so we weren't next to people that we had the same part as, and we just sang our parts, and that song being so powerful, and especially for the United Sound students, having them be a part of that with us, and in our dedication to them and their hard work and talent, that by singing it, you could see the faces of the people who were watching, and they were just mesmerized. It was beautiful, and I definitely agree. I wish I could do it 1,000 more times. It was just, there's just the feeling you got from that, and from being with, almost 300 people singing just collectively a beautifully arranged song, beautiful song, was truly magical. And I was almost crying too. Again, I probably cried so much during this trip, but all for good reasons, because I was so happy. And it was just amazing. And then the last, I think everyone can say that, what was one of your favorite experiences, it would be that, definitely. I have a lot of favorite experiences. I'm pretty sure every experience on this trip was my favorite experience. So, and then on the last day, that was the day everyone left. Just really sad for everyone, but I woke up early, and I wrote down all the times of all my friends who were leaving. I was just driving out with my family so I wasn't, I didn't have to make a plane or anything, but I wrote down all the times that all my friends were leaving, and I went downstairs and said goodbye to them, and it was just, most of them I had just met that week, and so the fact that I'd just become so close with them was, I'm still astounded by it today. The fact that, I don't know, it's just I keep in touch with all these people, and because I think it's really important to me to develop connections with people through something. And even speaking of connections, there was this one time we were on a bus, we were next to the Foothill Marching Band, and we started adding everybody on Snapchat with the bus next to us, and it was really funny, because we put all our there's a thing on Snapchat you can say add nearby, so we did that, and so did they. So we started adding anybody from other schools, and we saw them, and they would talk to us. And even one person I met a few weeks later at a drum corps camp who I had their Snapchat, but I didn't, really know who they are. And he was like, "Yeah, we were right next to you guys," and I thought, like, what a small world that it was like. It's so funny. I think that's crazy, and you just get, your eyes get opened to what the future of music and what band can be through the highest level. And these are, some of the best musicians in the country, high school musicians in the country, and just being a part of an honor band. And I think we did bring honor to America, as Eric Martin said, and I hope we did. And I think I wish I could do it all over again. I wish I could do music for all stuff for the rest of my life sometimes. But you gotta stop somewhere. But yeah, I just wanted to share my experience and my love and my reflections. Reflections, funny joke. On what the Honor Band of America experience meant to me. And so I just want to say thank you very much for letting me be a part of this experience. It is something that I will never forget. And signing off.